Okay, so what we're going to look at now, we're going to look at just working through some of these questions. So what we're been asked to do, so it's basic algebra. So we'll work through question 1 to begin with. So what it's asking you to do is to simplify each of these expressions. So let's start with this expression here. So the expression is, so you have 4x plus 5 minus 2 times bracket x plus 1. Okay, so just a quick recap. So this is what's known as a term. Inside the term, the number part is what's called the coefficient. The letter part, which in this case is x, is called the variable. So this whole thing is called an expression. An expression is made up of terms. So we have all of these terms here. So we've this term, we've the 4x, we've the plus 5, minus 5, and then we have the x and the plus 1. So these are all terms. Now what you have here is you have brackets as well. Now when you're being asked to simplify it, basically all you're being asked to do is to collect up the like terms. Now before we can do that, the first thing we have to do is, so see here we have a bracket. What we want to do is we want to get rid of the bracket. Now in order to get rid of a bracket in an algebra expression, what you have to do is you have to multiply each term inside the bracket by the term on the outside. So what does that mean? So what we have to do is we have to multiply, so we minus 2, so we have to multiply minus 2 by x and then multiply minus 2 by plus 1. So we will do that first because the first thing you want to do is get rid of the brackets. So minus 2 multiplied by x, and I'm just going to write down. So I'll just do maybe I'll do the calculations on this side, and then I'll just write down the simplified expressions on the other side. Okay, let me just do that a little bit better. Okay. So the first thing we have to do, so it's minus 2 multiplied by, I'll just do multiplied by x. Okay, so minus 2 multiplied by x, that's going to be equal to minus 2x. So that's the first part, and then the next one is minus 2 multiplied by plus 1, and that's going to be equal to minus 2. Okay, so this when we get rid of the bracket, it's going to become minus 2x minus 2x minus 2. So what we've done there is we've just got rid of this. We've simplified this part, okay, by removing the bracket. So in order to remove the bracket, you have to multiply this guy by everything that's on the inside of the bracket. And what we've done then is we've just written down our answers. We've written down what we've got here, and these are the workings out of each of those parts. Okay, so that's the first part. So then we can just bring down the other parts that we have there. So we can just write, so it's going to be 5 plus 4x. So all I've done is I've just brought these down here. So what we've done is we've taken this expression, so this part, and we've removed the brackets. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is we're simplifying it. So the next thing we want to do is we want to identify the like terms. So remember, if we have a look here, so let's underline like terms. So this is 4x. So is there any other term that has an x in it? Now it's just x and it's like an x. So we have this one here. So 4x and minus 2x, these are what are called like terms. Okay, so they have the same variable. So they have, okay, which in this case is x. So yeah, this has x and this has x. So like terms, we can add and subtract. Okay, put that now. So we can add and subtract like terms. So we can only add and subtract like terms. So let's say if we do that then, so, and I'll just do that over here. So if we have 4x minus 2x, that's going to be equal to, so 4x minus 2x, you subtract the number parts and you just keep the x. So 4 minus 2, that's going to be equal to 2x. So if you had 4x's and you took away 2x's, you're going to end up with 2x's. So what we've essentially done then is we've taken these two like terms and we've added them up. So this term here and this term here. And then what we can do is we can put the value down underneath it. So we can put the value down here. So it's just going to be 2, so 2x. So instead of having two x terms now, we've just collected them up and we have one x term, which is 2x. And we got that by taking our 4x and subtracting our 2x from it. So it's 4x minus 2x. And you can see the operation is here. The next part, what we want to do is we want to take our, so what are the other like terms? So if we look at this here, so we have plus 5 and we have minus 2. So these are like terms as well. Why are they like terms? Because they're both integers and we can add and subtract or subtract these from each other. Okay, they're like terms, so we can add and subtract them from each other. So let's do that. So if we're on plus 5 and we minus 2, that's going to be equal to plus 5 minus 2 is going to be equal to plus 3. So that'll be plus 3. So 2x plus 3. So what we've done is we have, so this here, this is your answer. So that's your answer. So we've taken this expression here, okay, which is this one here in your question, and we have simplified it. So now it looks like that. So that would be the answer. This is the answer to question 1. Okay, so let's remove that and let's move on to the next one. I'll just put this over here. And let's bring this up here because this is a rule that we use when we're working with these terms. So like terms can be added or subtracted. Okay, so let's move on to the next one then. So the next one is this one here. So again, what you've been asked to do is you're being asked to simplify. So we'll write it out. So we have 6 bracket y plus 4 minus 2 times y plus 3. Okay, so this is our expression. Now what we want to do is we want to simplify it. So the first thing we want to do is when we have brackets, so see the way, so we've brackets here and we've brackets here. We want to remove the brackets. Okay, so a general rule is remove brackets first. Okay, so if you have an expression and you have brackets within the expression, you want to remove those brackets first. So let's do that first. So how do we remove the brackets? What we do is we multiply everything inside the bracket by the term that's on the outside of the bracket. So what does that look like? So we're multiplying 6 by y and 4, and then over this side we're multiplying 2 by y and 3. So 6, so if we just do these down here, so if we do, so 6 multiplied by y, that's going to be equal to 6y. So 6 by y gives us 6y. So let's put that down here. So 6y. So the next one then is, so that's 6 by y, and then 6 multiplied by 4, 6 multiplied by 4. 6 and 6 is 12, 12 and 12 is 24. So it's equal to 24, and it's plus 24. Remember, like signs give plus, unlike signs give minus when you're multiplying integers by each other. So that's going to be plus 24. So what we've done essentially is we've removed the bracket here, and we've multiplied them out, and we've put down what we've got down here. So now we want to move over here to this side. So let's do these ones here. So we're going to have minus 2, so it's minus 2 multiplied by y, and we just do that here. So minus 2 multiplied by y, that's going to be equal to minus 2 multiplied by y is equal to minus 2y, and then we can put it down here. So it's going to be equal to minus 2y. And then the next part then is minus 2 multiplied by plus 3. So minus 2 multiplied by 3, that's equal to minus 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to minus 6. Remember, unlike like signs give plus, unlike signs give minus. And we can write that up here. So that's going to be equal to minus 6. So what we've done then is we've taken this expression here, and we've simplified it a little bit, but it's not completely simplified. What we want to do is we want to continue on simplifying it. So the next part, what we want to do is we want to identify like terms. So remember, we can add and subtract like terms. So the first thing you want to do is identify the like terms. So if we look at this term here, so it's 6y. Have we any other terms that are like 6y? If we have a look here, we have this. We have minus 2y. So 6y and 2y, minus 2y are like terms. So it's like saying there's 6 bananas, so 6 bananas and minus 2 bananas, for example. And all we're saying is instead of bananas, we're just using y. So 6y and minus y. So these are like terms. So we can add and subtract like terms. So let's do that here with these. Let's just draw a line under this. And so we have 6y minus 2y. So if we have 6, let's say if you had 6 bananas and you take away 2 bananas, you're going to have 4 bananas. Okay, so if you have 6 y's and you take away 2 y's, you're going to have 4 y's. 4 y's. And we can write that down here. So 4y. So what we've done is we've taken these two terms, like terms, and we've collected them up. We've added them up and we've simplified it. So instead of having 2 y terms, we simplify them and we have 1 y term, which is 4y. So the next part then, we want to continue identifying like terms. So we have this. So plus 24 and minus 6, these are just two integers. So we can, and they're like terms, so therefore we can add these up as well. So if we're on plus 24 and we minus, so if we're on plus 24 and we minus 6, that's going to be equal to plus 24 minus 6 will be equal to, let's just use our calculator. So you have 24 minus 6, that's going to be equal to 18. So it's equal to 18. Okay, and we can just bring that down. So that's equal to 4y plus 18. So what we've done is we have taken these two like terms and we've collected them up. So now what we have is we've gone from this expression to this expression, which is a much more simpler expression. So we have we have simplified this expression. Okay, so that's that part 2. So let's move on to the next one. Just move this out of the way. So the next one we want to look at is this guy here. So this guy here. And again, I'll get rid of these calculations here so I can continue. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is we'll write out the expression. So we have 4 times 3 plus k minus 2 times k minus 5. Now notice in this one what they're doing is they're actually using the letter k as a variable, and that's fine. Like it doesn't have to be x, it doesn't have to be y, it can be any letter. So the first thing then that you want to do is you want to remove the brackets. So how do we remove the brackets? We multiply the number on the outside by everything that's on the inside. So let's do that first. So what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do is it's going to be 4 by 3 and 4 by k. So we'll do that here. So if we have 4 multiplied by 3, that's going to be equal to 12. So we can just write down 12 underneath here. And then we have 4 multiplied by k. So we have 4 multiplied by k. That's equal to 4k. Okay, so that's equal to 4k. So we can just bring that down. So plus 4k. So that's that side removed. So let's do the same over here. So we want to get rid of the bracket here. So again, we have to take this term, multiply it by this, and then multiply it by this. So let's do the calculations for that. So we're going to have minus 2 multiplied by k, which is going to be equal to, so minus 2 multiplied by k will just be minus 2k. Okay, and we can write that down here. So minus 2k. Then the next part, it's minus 2 multiplied by minus 5. So it's going to be minus 2 multiplied by minus 5 is equal to. Now remember, when we're multiplying integers, like signs give plus, unlike signs give minus. So it's going to be minus 2 multiplied by minus 5, which will be equal to 10, or plus 10. So that's equal to plus 10. Plus 10. So what we've done is, again, we've removed the brackets. That's the first thing we want to do. The next thing we want to do now is we want to identify the like terms and add them up. So let's say if we take k, for example, we have 4k here. Do we have any other like terms like 4k? We do. We have 4k and then we minus 2k. So we can work with these two. So if we have 4k minus 2k, that's going to be equal to, so if we have 4k's and then we take away 2k's, we're going to have 2k. 2k's remaining. So again, we can just bring that down. So these two will just simplify to 2k. And then the next part, what we want to look at, so what other like terms have we? So then we have this one here and this one here. These are both like terms. So you have 12 plus 10 is equal to, so 12 plus 10 is equal to 22. So it's equal to 22, so it's plus 22. So again, we can bring this down. So it's 2k plus 22. So 2k plus 22. So again, like what we've done is we just collected up, so these like terms, okay, and they're the calculations there for adding those like terms. And then we have taken these like terms, this one, and and this one, and we've just added them up. And then what we've done is we've brought them down, okay? So these two here become this, and then these two here become this. So ultimately then what we've done is we've taken this expression and we have simplified it. So this is our answer. So the answer is 2k plus 22. So that's it, simplified. So that's the first part. So that's the first question that we've been asked to do. So when you're been asked to simplify an expression, that's what you have to do. That's what you're being asked to do. Okay, so let's continue on, and let's just remove this. I'll just put this down here out of the way. And let's remove all this. So the next one then, we look at the next questions here. So find the value of each of these when x is equal, so when x is equal to 3 and y is equal to minus 2. So x is equal to 3 and y is equal to minus 2. So we'll do the first one. So we'll just write out the expression. So what it's saying is it's 2x plus y. Now what it's telling us is that x is equal to 3 and y is equal to minus 2. So all you have to do then with these ones, all you're doing is you're substituting in the value. So what does that mean? It means you look at the expression, and wherever there is, for example, in this case, wherever there's an x variable, you put in the value 3, and wherever there's a y variable, you put in the value minus 2. So let's go ahead and do that. So this one here, this is 2x. So when 2 and x are written beside each other like that, that means 2 multiplied by whatever the value is for x. So we can write this like this. So it's 2, and then we can bracket the value for x, which is 3, plus, and then we can put in whatever the value is for y, okay, which is minus 1. And you can just put it in like that, minus 1. So all we do now is we remove the bracket. So it's going to be 2 multiplied by 3. So 2 by 3 is 6. And then we have plus minus 1. So that'll just be 6 minus 1. And that's going to be equal to 5. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one then we want to look at is this one here. So let's say that's question 1. So question 2 then. So question 2 is just x, y. So what that means is it's x multiplied by y. So what you can do is you can put in the value for x, which is 3, multiplied by the value for y, which is minus 2. So 3 multiplied by minus 2, that's going to be equal to minus 6. Remember, unlike signs give minus, like signs give plus. So this is plus 3 multiplied by minus 2, which is equal to minus 6. So that's your answer. So 3 then, question 3 is this one here. So it's x plus 3y. So again, remember x, let's just change the color. So x is equal to 3. So it's going to be 3 plus 3 times y. So 3 multiplied by, So whatever the value is for y, which is minus 2. So 3, so we get rid of the bracket first. So 3 multiplied by, so plus 3 multiplied by minus 2, that's equal to minus 6. So minus 6 plus 3, and that's going to be equal to, so if we're on plus 3 and we minus 6, we're going to end up on minus 3. So minus 3. So that's your answer to question part 3. And let me just remove some of this so I can work with the rest of the questions. So I'll put that there. So the next one then is this. So we have 2x raised to the power of 2 plus y raised to the power of 2. So if we take, let's say, y to the power of 2, that means y multiplied by y. If we take x squared, that means x multiplied by x. So the first thing we want to do is, so it's going to be 2 times your value for x, which is 3. So it's 3 multiplied by 3 plus y multiplied by y. So it's going to be plus minus 2 multiplied by minus 2. And you can just write them in brackets like that. That means when you have two brackets beside each other, that means they're multiplied by each other. So remember, what you have to do is you have to do whatever's inside the brackets first. So we have 3 by 3. So that's going to be equal to 2 times 3 by 3 is 9. And minus 2 multiplied by minus 2 gives us plus 4. Okay. And now what we can do is we can multiply this by this to get rid of the bracket. So 2 by 9 is 18 plus 4 is equal to 22. Is equal to 22. So that's part 4. So that's that one here. Okay, so that's those ones. So let's continue on and let's work on part C. I just want to remove these. Put it down here. Okay, so part C then. So what we have when we look at this, so by forming an equation, work out what x stands for. So we can see here that we have 2x plus 1, that's one side of the length, and then we have x 10 minus x, that's the other side. Now what we can say is that these two expressions are equal to each other, okay, because we can see that each expression represents the length of this plank. So therefore the two of them are equal to each other. So what we can say is that 2x plus 1 is equal to 10 minus x. Okay, see the two lengths are equal to each other. Now what we can do is we can start to simplify this and work out what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out what x is equal to. So what you're trying to do with this one is you're trying to isolate x and figure out what x is actually equal to. Now the first thing what you want to do is you want to get all of the x's on one side. So we want to get the x's, we want to get all the x's over onto the left hand side. So how do we do that? So the first thing what we want to look at, let's just get rid of these here so they don't cause confusion. So what we have here is we have minus x on this side. Now what I want to do is I want to get rid of minus x from this side and I want to bring it over the other side. So in order to get rid of, so if I want to cancel this out or change minus x to 0, so this is minus x, it's minus 1x, so what I have to do is I have to plus x. Now if I add an x on this, so see the way we have an equal signs here, if I add an x on this side, I have to add an x on this side, so I plus x here. So what's going to happen is these two here will just cancel out. So minus x plus x will just cancel out. And then what we can do is we can simplify this over here. So we have, if we have 2x and then we add an x, we're going to have 3x. So 3x plus 1 is equal to 10. Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to get x on its own. So we can see here that, so we've this number 3 in front of the x, and then we have this number 1 beside the x. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get rid of the numbers furthest away from the x first. So that's going to be this plus 1 here. Now in order to get rid of plus 1, so if I have plus 1 and I want to turn that to 0, I have to minus 1. Now remember, if I minus 1 from the left hand side, I have to minus 1 from the right hand side to keep it balanced. So what's going to happen is, so plus 1 minus 1, these will cancel out. And then on this side, you're going to have 10 minus 1. So if you have 10 and you minus 1, that's going to be equal to 9. So 9 is going to be equal to 3x. So you'll notice as well that, so if we look at the operation, so see the way we have plus 1 here, and this is plus 10 as well. The plus isn't there, but it's implied. That's what you have to do is, in order to get rid of it, you have to use the opposite operation. So in this case it's minus, and in this case it's minus. Now, so if it's plus 1, you have to minus 1. And then if you minus 1 from one side, you minus 1 from the other side. Now, if we have a look here, so the operation that's at play, this means 3 multiplied by the value for x. So remember, so addition, the opposite of addition is subtraction. Multiplication, the opposite of multiplication is division. So what we have to do then is, in order to get rid of the 3 here, so we want to turn the 3 into a 1. So the operation is multiplication, so that means 3 multiplied by the value for x. So therefore we have to use the opposite, which is division. So we have to divide this term by 3. If we divide this term by 3, we have to divide this term by 3. So what's going to happen then is 3 will go into that once, 3 will go in there once, 3 will go in there once, and 3 will go into 9 3 times. So x then is going to be equal to 3. X is equal to 3. So this here is your answer. So this is the answer. X is equal to 3. So what you're doing is you're working out what x stands for. And the next part then is, what is the length of the plank? So what's the length of the plank? So all you have to do then with this one is, you can just take one of the expressions. So for example, you can just take this expression. So it's 2x plus 1. And 2x plus 1, that is equal to the length of the plank. See, it tells you here, 2x plus 1. And now that we know that x is equal to 3, we can substitute this value for x into our expression and then work out what the length of the plank is. So it's going to be 2 multiplied by 3 plus 1. So that's 2 by 3 is 6 plus 1 is equal to 7. So the length of the plank is the length of the plank is equal to 7. So that's our answer. So that's all those questions. So that's all those parts to question 1 done. So hopefully that makes sense, and we will leave it at that.